Big statement time. The world is completely different to what you know. Now, I can make that statement and I can back it up, and I will. Other people can make a statement and they never back it up. So, as I said at the very beginning, you have to never believe a single word that I say, and you have to then look to test what I say and self verify that it's actually correct. Otherwise, how do you know? So, there are three reasons why the world is completely different to what we know. Reason number one is we're not alone. We think that because we're physical beings, we think we're smart and we're clever, we've got AI, we can fly into space, that we're really, really intelligent. Well, the answer is no, we're actually really unintelligent because we're only 1% of everything that exists. The other 99% is the spiritual world that is around us trying to help us to evolve to become more than one, to become 2 and 5 and 10, to have more of our soul come into our body. Okay, so we're not alone. And I'm going to show you how you can tap into that as you go through your daily life, right? And a lot of this stuff you're probably already aware of, but no one's actually told you. So it's something that's never really kind of stood out or given you reason to go, oh, that's a skill I can actually develop. The second reason, time. Time is completely different to being linear, right? We think it starts here and then there's a minute and then there's an hour, then there's a day, a week, a month, a year, and 10 years, and it runs in a straight line because, you look at a clock, you look at any form of measurement and it's tick, 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 runs on and on. But that's actually wrong. Time is circular. So if you take your linear element and you bend it into time, time is actually circular. And what you're able to do is to step out from that circular. So if you're born here and then you move round and round and round and round and round and round, there is a defined point when you die. Nurses say that there is a date stamped on your bum when you're going to die, right? They've always said that. And you're going to go, how would they know? But they do know. And then you die at a given point because you have a destiny, a life path that says everything that's going to happen in your life. And there's a reason for that. And there's a reason why you've made the choices that you've made. You may have, maybe like me, you've made like loads of mistakes that you've made because you've made them in the previous loop of your life. Now, because time is perceptual, which means that you can have two people and one person in an hour gets loads of things done, right? They got loads of time. And somebody else gets nothing done. There may be times in your life when, an hour seems like a year because it seems to go so slowly. And then an hour can rush by. And then everybody goes, oh, do you know what? As you get older, time seems to get faster. It's perceptual. So time is actually non-linear. And I'm going to show you exercises as to how you can stand back from the circular time. And, so from an everyday point of view, a minute's still a minute, an hour's still an hour. Nothing changes there, but it's how much time do you have in the time? So suddenly, within that hour, you either achieve a lot more or you're a lot more relaxed or time seems to go that much slower or you get a lot more enjoyment out of time. So none of this rushing about where and as soon as you start saying, I never have enough time, you create an accelerated perception of time. So that's the first thing you need to know is time is actually your best friend and you can have as much of it as you want. The third area is we are not physical. We think we're physical because, look, I can hit my hand, I can hit my book and it makes a noise. So therefore, I know it's physical, but it's actually everything in our world is made up of small elements, vibrational elements, and it's how dense those elements are as to how solid they appear and don't appear. So before I said to you, there's three elements in our world. There is a solid, that when you speed it up, it becomes a gas. When you speed it up, it becomes a liquid. When you speed it up, it becomes a gas. Okay? So everything in our world is non-physical. It's made up of, if you like, molecules. It's made up of vibration. It's made up of particles that can be sped up more and more and more. So I know it sounds cheesy, but the higher the vibration levels go, the healthier that you become, because you can only be one of two things. You can be healthy or you can be unwell. So when your body has a low vibrational rate, it's equals to ill health. When your body has a higher vibrational rate, it's equal good health. And the difference between one and the other is how excited you are in your life. So if you're really excited about life and you're laughing about this and having a joke about that, you work off a higher vibration. The higher vibration you've got, the healthier that you are, the better your immune system is, the more good things come into your life just by being excited. So there is a relationship between everything. So our world is completely different. And these three things, when you start to explore them, you start to understand that because we're not alone, we can tap into the spiritual world. We can therefore have so many more good things come into our life. We can start to get a much better understanding. Our consciousness increases. Our soul size gets bigger and bigger. Our knowledge increases. So we never make the same mistakes. We make good decisions. So life from this point of view is unlimited in terms of how good it can get. Time's the thing I've always struggled with, right? But having loads more time, controlling time, being totally relaxed, suddenly makes life have that much more value. And when you understand the non-physical element of life, you then start to understand how life really is, because there's a whole world that you are unable at the moment to see. And I'm going to pull back that veil, because 99% of your world is an illusion. You think it's real, but it's false. It's a lie. It's a lie you've been told, and it is a programming and a brainwashing to keep you stuck in your matrix, so that it's like you be that chicken in a cage. Door's still unlocked, but you refuse to leave it, and you are happy living in this cage as opposed to joining me and everyone outside, where the world is amazing. Loads of food, loads of water, loads of fun, loads of sunshine. Okay? So, there you've got it. The world is completely different to what you know. And as we get more involved in this project, you'll start to understand and experience more of this as I start to explain it more to you.